Everybody's heard of the Horus Heresy, like it's grim-dark gospel. But did you know the Dark Angels had their own rebellion? They were the true traitors all along, but they did an even shittier job than Horus. And now, the loyal half of the Legion are busy scrubbing the evidence clean, making sure they get all the snitches. But to understand how these hooded, emo space Batmans became fallen angels, we have to start from the beginning. The Dark Angels were the first Legion created by the Emperor, which explains their arrogance and superiority complex. They originally donned black armor, but after their forest world Caliban got nuked into compost, they switched to radioactive green in honor of it. Boasting the largest head count and deadliest track record, they earned the nickname of the Uncrowned Princes. Their kill streak was so infamous that the title Angels of Death was theirs alone, before marketing slapped it on every other Space Marine. In fact, Big E liked them so much that he even granted them access to the ancient forbidden weaponry from his secret stash that included biological weapons and shit that could destroy entire planets. But winning made them cocky, and cocky made them stupid. They stopped innovating, got leapfrogged by nerds like the Ultramarines, and started racking up so many casualties that victory basically meant they were the last ones standing. By mid-Crusade, they were less a cohesive army and more a traveling suicide squad. But everything changed when the Fire Nation— wait, wrong franchise. Everything changed when their Primarch, Lionel Johnson, got yeeted through the warp by the Chaos Gods and crash-landed on Caliban. Caliban was a lovely death world full of chaos-mutated wildlife, basically Australia on steroids. Baby Johnson spent his first 10 years solo, cosplaying as Tarzan, but with a higher body count. The beasts thought they ruled the jungle. Johnson turned them into glorified chew toys. Eventually, some locals found him, and a dude named Luther adopted him. The two became BFFs and assembled a medieval hit squad, wiping out Caliban's great beasts. In honor of this accomplishment, the Lion got promoted to Supreme Grand Master. Eventually, the Emperor's scouts showed up on Caliban and claimed the Lion as his son. He handed Lionel Johnson the First Legion and let him rename them the Dark Angels, because he was a damn cringe lord. The Lion quickly realized he'd inherited a squad of testosterone-fueled alpha males with superiority complexes. So he went full WWE and challenged every squad leader to a one-on-one until the entire Legion finally submitted. Now 100,000 strong and freshly unified, the Dark Angels did what any sane Legion would do: flex on the Ultramarines. In their first battle, they swooped in like Batman to save an Ultramarines garrison. They bodied the enemy, making everyone forget how hard they used to suck. To rebuild the ranks, the Lion recruited the toughest bastards from Caliban and dumped the job of babysitting them on his trusted second-in-command, Luther. Mostly because he didn't trust the shady bastard at all. And this is how the betrayal all began. Luther behaved for a while, but then Caliban exploded into chaos with warp-spawned beasts, zombies, and pissed-off locals who thought the Lion sold them out. Feeling the vibe, Luther told the Lion to go fuck himself and declared Caliban's independence like a true backstabbing bro. It wasn't just old buddies the Lion pissed off. Half his brothers also thought he was a secretive narcissist with a god complex. His biggest beef was with Leman Russ. After a campaign squabble, the two idiots wrestled for 24 hours straight like it was WWE. Russ laughed it off, but the Lion got butthurt and rage punched him into a coma, and somehow he was the one mad after. Russ took it personally and swore revenge. Their beef was so spicy, it's still grilling in the 41st millennium, with Space Wolves and Dark Angels throwing hands whenever they get bored. Sometimes just for honor, sometimes because they genuinely hate each other's guts. Despite being massive dickheads, most of the Dark Angels stayed loyal during the Horus Heresy. Horus, being the drama queen he was, sent the Night Lords to screw with them. The Lion fought Conrad Kersey twice, lost track of him, and then spent 4 months playing hide-and-seek on his own damn ship, and never found him. Thanks to warp storms cock-blocking their way to Terra, the Dark Angels instead teamed up with Guilliman and Sanguinius on Ultramar. With no Wi-Fi to Terra, and no clue if Big E was still alive, they panicked and made a backup empire, calling it the Imperium Secundus. Turns out cramming 3 Ultra Alpha Bros into one empire was a terrible idea. Guilliman and the Lion kept bickering over how to deal with Conrad, who was loose on Macragge like a meth-addicted raccoon. The Lion, being the OCD guy he was, suggested nuking the capital to catch him. Eventually, the Lion caught Conrad and was ready to execute him, but Sanguinius and Guilliman played mom and dad and said no. Everyone got butthurt, the Imperium Secundus fell apart, and the Lion dragged Conrad off as his prisoner. After the breakup, the trio agreed to punch their way through the warp storms to reach Terra and help Big E. Along the way, they learned the magic of friendship, beat up some demons, and split up. The Dark Angels and Ultramarines ran interference, while the Blood Angels made a beeline for Terra. The Dark Angels' main fleet had 0 chance of making it to Terra, so the Lion, being the petty king he was, went full scorched earth mode instead. If he couldn't win the race, he was sure as hell going to set fire to everyone else's houses on the way out. He started carpet-bombing traitor homeworlds. Fulgrim's femboy planet of Chemos, nuked. Barbarous, Mortarian's emo swamp, straight up erased. The Lion had hoped that attacking the traitor homeworlds would divert some of their attention away from Terra. At the end of Heresy, when the Lion found out Big E was in a coma, he felt guilty and sprinted back to Caliban, only to find it crawling with chaos, and his own legion split into traitors called the Fallen. Furious, the Lion did what any responsible leader would, ordered an orbital bombardment on his own homeworld. He then personally went down to beat the shit out of his ex-bestie Luther, but during their fight, Luther had a guilt trip and stopped short of killing him. But the Chaos Gods weren't having any of that. They unleashed a warp storm that ripped Caliban apart, yoinked the Fallen into space, and spreading them across the galaxy. The Lion was reported as missing, but in reality, he was just taking an extended nap inside the rock, the last chunk of Caliban, waiting for the day his emo sons screw up badly enough to need him. And wake up he did. In the 42nd millennium, Lionel Johnson crawled out of his nap with amnesia in a weird-ass realm. His memory only returns after he jumps a fallen angel, beats him half to death, and makes him join his new Bible study group called The Risen. He then goes around recruiting other fallen angels to join his new warband. Somewhere along the way, the Lion unlocks a ridiculous hack called Forest Walk that deadass lets him teleport across space and time. Meanwhile, the Dark Angels spent the last 10,000 years playing Scooby-Doo, frantically hunting their fallen brothers and covering up their family scandal so the rest of the Space Marines wouldn't roast them. That concludes today's episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please feel free to comment below on which topic I should cover next. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a Shopify store linked in the description for Warhammer LEGO figurines. I also have a Discord if you're interested in joining.